What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Smackdown Aftershow. We are, of course, continuing to hang out with you from our homes, trying to bring you as much entertainment as we can through this crazy, crazy time. I'm Josh Tariff. Brian's off this week. Tom's got some dad stuff to do, but fear not, because Gabby Loren is back. Hello, Gabby.
That's right. What's up, guys? Hope you had a fabulous Friday night and enjoyed SmackDown.
That's right. So yeah, just you and I breaking down the show this week, Gabby. You think you can handle it? You ready?
I don't think you can handle it. Can you handle me?
That's a fair point. Probably not. Probably not.
I think.
Well, we kicked this show off this week. Very different, very unique style. All of a sudden, we just cut to the parking lot outside of the Performance Center, where there's EMTs running around, police, one random woman with a cell phone camera, which I thought was hilarious, and obviously like wrestlers and referees, because all of a sudden we see Elias on the ground, EMTs attending to him with a crashed car. Cops are looking in the car. They discover Jeff Hardy's name is on it because it's his rental. They're trying to look for Jeff Hardy, think maybe he's in the locker room because he has a match that evening. We cut over. I loved also Renee and Kayla were both outside reporting on it at the same time. Kayla's talking with Braun Strowman because trying to see what he saw. All of a sudden they cut. Jeff Hardy is found pretty much like knocked out a little farther down by the bushes. He smells of alcohol. There's alcohol in the vehicle. Cops are questioning, put cuffs on him. Jeff is delirious, wondering what's happening. Starts screaming and panicking when he sees Elias being put into the ambulance. And you got Jamie Noble and Jason Jordan, like trying to calm Jeff down, that we're going to figure everything out. And Jeff gets sent away with the police. A definitely crazy, heavy segment to start the show.
Yes, it was. It was interesting. So first, I'm just going to make a funny comment. The vehicle they decided to use, I love how this is like a car accident and there's no damage to the vehicle. It's just literally a vehicle a little bit on the grass or, middle section of the parking lot with the front, not the trunk, but what is it called? The hood. The hood was open. The door was left open.
The door was open.
Yeah.
And it was elevated a little bit because it's a rental. They don't want to damage it.
Yeah, they didn't want to damage it. Or it was somebody's car that works at WWE, so they just wanted to be careful. Yeah. So that was funny to me. But overall, interesting segment, kept me engaged, but I do feel like it's very touchy because of Jeff Hardy's past. And I know it could trigger a lot of people if somebody had a relative pass away from a drunk driving accident, or if they had a DUI or an instance as the drunk driver. This could be very triggering for past trauma. So, overall, I felt engaging, but it was definitely on the line of did we go too far? Yeah, and it was long, and it was definitely like a lengthy intro. I'm just wondering if Jeff Hardy was set up. Now, I know it plays into his past, but could somebody else have drugged Jeff Hardy or knocked Jeff Hardy out? Because he kept saying his head. Did somebody maybe hit him, throw him in the grassy area, and plant paperwork in the vehicle that said it was Jeff Hardy's vehicle with a bottle of alcohol to make it seem as though Jeff Hardy did this to, I don't know, get Jeff Hardy arrested and also take out Elias.
Oh, Gabby, I'm sorry to spoil this for you, but you're 1,000% right. And we're gonna find this out in a week or two from the hacker.
Yeah.
The hacker is going to somehow have the footage of what happened. To me, it seemed like, based on what happened in the next segment, which we'll get into, that it couldn't have been done by one person with everything that was set up. I feel it was really Sheamus and Corbin together. because
Right.
they're feuding with Hardy and Elias respectively. And so, I mean, you have one of them, like, attack Hardy when he's getting out of his car, bring around, pour liquor in the car, pour the liquor on him. You take the car, you hit Elias, and you run for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so boom, boom. How did that happen?
Yeah.
But I mean, even if it is someone different, which it could be, I have a feeling the hacker is going to solve this mystery for everyone.
Probably. And then also with Jeff Hardy, didn't they have this whole package that kept airing in between the SmackDown shows talking about his past and how he's,
Yeah.
I guess, moved on? So why would they now backtrack and make it? Why would he, go back to that place if they're trying to promote that he's recovered?
So
Right?
it's
So
one of
that
two.
justifies our
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. It's one of two things. It's because as you know with this in wrestling, depending on where you are on the totem pole, sometimes you have some say in what you will or will not do on TV. Sometimes you have to do exactly what they tell you. Even if you're higher in the card and have been in trouble in the past, you get taken down a few notches. So I'm sure one day we'll find out that either Jeff Hardy said he okayed this whole thing, or they told him he had to do it. It's one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
But being that, the whole story with it was him trying to build up, and then he got another DUI, build back up, get another DUI, feuding with Sheamus, who was talking about his drinking problems, and now Jeff Hardy's getting built up, DUI. And so they're making it clearly a part of the story. It's just the question is whether or not Jeff Hardy wanted this to be part of the story. Because like you said at the beginning, this triggers people watching it if they've known someone or if they've personally gone through it. Jeff Hardy has gone through it. So, I'm hoping that he gave the okay. He's like, I'm comfortable doing this. It makes sense for the story. I'm going to look like the hero in the end. I'm fine with it. I hope that's how it ends.
Could you imagine, though, like what it's like for him to be in that position to act out this scene, whether the storyline is in his favor where he didn't actually do it, somebody else planted him there, or he was the actual driver? Because, like you mentioned, what if this is bringing up memories and he's being triggered because he's been through it? So that alone, to act out this scene with his past, I can't imagine getting through it. Like, that's got to be a mental game you're playing.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then on a side note with this, and it's a lighter side note in a way, but I'm trying to figure out why Elias still comes into work, because in the last couple months,
That's a good point.
Elias has been thrown off a giant balcony, destroyed backstage, breaking fingers, and now hit by a car. Where then WWE.com, their report on it was broken ribs and a torn pec.
Man, everybody's out for Elias.
Yeah, it's just like, why is Elias the one that keeps getting beat up? Why Elias?
Elias is going for the gold right now, so everybody that he comes across wants to take him out so he doesn't have a chance.
And from there we cut to the backstage area, a bunch of superstars in the back arguing based with all the craziness that was going on. Adam Pearce, my man, the agent, Adam Pearce, standing tall, laying down authority, trying to get people know what's going on, because Elias was supposed to face AJ Styles in the IC title tournament. Jeff Hardy was supposed to face Daniel Bryan in the IC title tournament. Neither of those are happening. The only people that seemed happy in the situation were Sheamus and Corbin, going back to my theory from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And AJ is saying, all right, well, then I get a bye to the finals. And Daniel Bryan's like, no, let's each have a match and give other people a chance to compete for it. And he's like, no, I want to show the title. I don't want to risk it. You go ahead. I'm not going to do it. I get a bye. And then you had Corbin and Sheamus trying to plead their cases to get matches, whether one with AJ, one with Bryan, triple threat with Bryan. But then everyone else started chiming in. Jey Uso chimed in. Shorty G chimed in. Cesaro chimed in. Ziggler chimed in. It was like, hey, no, you guys already had a chance and you lost. We weren't in the tournament. So Pierce makes a battle royal, and the winner of that would face Daniel Bryan later in the night in the semifinal match. AJ, per his request, gets his bye. I loved this segment with all the other factors like teasing different matches and them not happening. One thing I didn't like was we went straight from the accident to this and nothing in between. So we went nearly 30 minutes of TV
Yeah, you're right.
before we were even inside the arena for the match, for any match.
I did feel like it flew by.
Oh, it did. It absolutely did. My only thought was, like, you do the accident segment outside. You have any random match in there, just like getting people introduced to the show. We'll get updates as soon as we can on what's going on, what's going to happen with the tournament, blah, blah, blah. After that match, then you go backstage. So, right. Yeah, otherwise, you have Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and the NXT superstars that are there in attendance, just kind of like, all right, when are we going to start? By the way, do you like the setup with like the plexiglass? And
I was just going to talk about that. So wait, why backstage can like 12, 15 wrestlers be in a backstage promo, whatever it was, I'm sure it was probably less, and do that standing next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, but now we have to have plexiglass up in the performance center with, our audience.
None of that. At the start of the Battle Royal, Michael Cole mentions we have members of the superstars that are training the Performance Center in NXT practicing safe social distancing in our stands, all standing 6 feet apart. And he's saying this while there is a Battle Royal happening in the ring, which is so as far away from social distancing as you possibly can get in wrestling.
I think this was one of our first shows where there was absolutely no social distancing happening.
No, right? There weren't any.
So it was really funny to me.
They even cut at one point, I don't remember, I think it was at the very end of the show, they cut to two, I don't remember which women, two of the women that were in the crowd, hugging each other, doing the yes chant together. I'm like, that ain't 6 feet apart. Just like, what? I don't understand what's happening.
I'm just wondering, is WWE testing this out to see if they can start inviting fans into the arena or like the performance center, I should say? Like, why are they putting plexiglass up?
Well, they're putting plexiglass to try to avoid, fans, or in this case, reaching over for the high fives, sweat flying off the wrestlers onto people. So that's why they're doing that. At the same time, why do they not have chairs? Why can't they sit?
Wait, were those people fans or were they like
No, they were NXT superstars.
That's what I thought. So this is them just testing it out to see what they're going to do with fans? Okay.
I think it is. I think at least at the beginning, when they do have fans come in, they're going to keep this plexiglass stuff, which it's one thing around the barriers, but on the ramp, I don't like it on the ramp at all.
Well, I guess they're really, because fans are crazy. Sometimes they'll jump into the arena ring area and try to get at a wrestler physically. So, sometimes they think they're part of the show. But maybe that's also preventing them from having that instance happen because people are so stir crazy right now from being isolated for so long.
You're right, and also I think it's also on the wrestler side, because how many times do we see spots where the wrestlers get thrown or hop over the barricade, or they do a move like Jeff Hardy? One of his signature moves is to run on the top of the barricade and jump. You're not going to be able to do those now.
That's a good point. It's like their safety measures.
It's their way of making sure the wrestlers don't go to the fans. Likewise, what you said, fans, no one gets dumb and jumps to try to get to the wrestlers. So at least at first, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Interesting. But what happens if they really knock into that barricade? And is the plexiglass secure? Or can it fall? Like, that's a concern for me.
My only thought with that is, if it's made the same type of plexiglass that is used in hockey, it's very rare that the plexiglass falls in hockey, and they're wearing helmets and pads and are skating at a faster speed than what the wrestlers would be without any padding, just running. So if it's the same thing, is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Not really. So with that, I'm not as worried with that. Personally, it doesn't make me want to get a ringside seat because I feel like it's going to obstruct my view a little bit.
Yeah, and who wants to stand in front of glass? This is actually a deterrent for being in the front row now.
Right.
This is the first time wrestling fans don't want to sit close to the ring.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get into the Battle Royal itself, 10-man Battle Royal. Match itself was fine. I was actually surprised at how long they made a 10-man Battle Royal go, because they were definitely making some people look good. Grand Metalik looked fantastic in this while he was in it. Shorty G looked fantastic while he was in this. Obviously, Jey Uso. Hey, always. we teased a little bit of Jey just being by himself. All right, let's see what he can do. And it came down to him, Jey Uso, and Sheamus as the final two. Sheamus eventually does get the win, and Sheamus then will advance to face Dan O'Brien later on in the evening. But yeah, what did you think of the Battle Royal in itself, besides the social distance comments and everything?
I think it was fun. It was nice to finally see everybody, back in the ring. It's always exciting when there's a lot happening at once. And I enjoyed watching Shorty G just as you did. Also, Jey Uso, like you mentioned, made an impact. But really, Shorty G was quite a star for some time in this match. It was fun for me to watch. I'm glad Corbin didn't win. That would have been an utter disappointment. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. Honestly, I thought it was a little long for only a 10-man Battle Royal, but I enjoyed it. I got excited that they let Jey Uso be the last one with Sheamus. Make you have that feeling of, oh, we might get a chance of somebody that we haven't seen get a singles title shot actually win. Because if it came down to, say, Sheamus and Nakamura, just for example, it's like, all right, well, we've seen both of them get titles and title shots, and all right, whatever. But the fact that we had Jey Uso in it, gave that glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe. And that's where they pull us in. Backstage, we get a very quick promo from Sonya, gearing up for her match with Lacey Evans.
This was awesome.
The promo, it was short and sweet, but then Lacey comes up from behind her and pushes her and knocks her over, because that's what baby faces do.
I guess you're right. They don't. But you know what? I did love how they staged her in the back of the interview, in the back of this promo, and she was just listening the whole time. Because it's always like that moment you ever have when you were younger, or even recently, maybe, I don't know, where you are speaking about somebody and you don't realize they're right around you or right next to you or behind you, and
sure,
and they're there. I know it happens all the time when you're younger, and you're just like, shoot, that's why you're not supposed to talk about anybody behind their back, because then they wind up being the one that just heard what you said. So I feel like that's exactly what happened in this backstage promo. But it was fun for me to watch her facial expressions and her demeanor from the back, just eavesdropping on Sonya Deville's comments.
Oh, yeah, no, I like that. I think it might have been better if, instead of her pushing her from behind, she approached her like you said, it's like, oh, is that what you think of me? And just kind of Sonya caught off guard. And then they have a little face-to-face interaction for a second. But you're attacking someone from behind, which is the definition of a heel. And they
Yeah.
keep wanting us to think Lacey's not a heel, but she keeps acting like a heel.
Well, also though, if she didn't push her and it was just like she came up and had dialogue with her, Sonya might not have realized that she was actually standing there the whole time. Because a lot of times wrestlers just come into the frame and they didn't hear what they said prior. They only heard a little snippet and then entered. And so I liked that they played it like, no, I'm here. You're talking behind my back. Now I'm going to push your back. That's how I took it. And so
Okay.
I enjoyed that,
Okay.
regardless of heel or babyface. Technically, yeah, Lacey Evans, if she's a babyface, she doesn't seem like a babyface to me. So maybe, is she like slowly turning? Like, what do you think that is?
They still can't figure her out. Honestly, I hate being negative towards a wrestler, but because she is a talented wrestler,
Mm-hmm.
but between things like pushing from behind, you know, like the pushing of the Southern accent. I've heard her in interviews with a much thinner accent than what we would hear in that. The handkerchief stuff, like these are all heelish type mannerisms, but she's a Marine, mom, been their country, badass blonde, the sweet, sassy Southern belle. It's just like, like, all right, you have all these things that you want us to get behind, and we should get behind them. But then you keep trickling these other things that fans prefer to boo than cheer overall. So when you give them some things that they could boo, it's going to end up being worse or higher, I should say, than the cheers.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get rid of the teasing with a handkerchief. You shouldn't be attacking someone from behind. If you want us to cheer for you, you got to be like the hero.
Right.
And anytime she takes a step forward as the hero, she then takes a step back with some other mannerism.
Right.
And that's why I think, in my opinion, just my opinion, that it's trouble elevating her to that next level because she has the talent. I really do think that. I think she has been getting better with the matches. I mean, we'll get into the Sonya match in a minute. I really enjoyed the match with her and Sonya. It's just those mannerisms pull it away from me. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be pulled away from it. I want to cheer for her.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into their match, we have a quick promo in the back again with Shorty G, Cesaro, and Nakamura. Shorty G's been off TV for months. All of a sudden, we give him a big moment in that battle royal. Cesaro and Nakamura are angry at him. So we go back to short jokes. It was nothing but, you're in big trouble. Good luck, little buddy. They're just like these other things that was just like, why is that the only way that we can have conversations with Shorty G?
Yeah. I agree. I'm not a huge fan of that. Even just hearing the commentators announce his name kind of bothers me.
His name is Chad Gable, damn it.
Yeah, I just feel like if I was in his shoes, I would kind of be annoyed. Like, this is my wrestling name. Like, this is what people are gonna know me as.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope he likes it, but yeah, it does irk me a little bit in these situations.
Yeah. We then jump into the Sonya and Lacey match, and like I was just saying a minute ago, I enjoyed this match. It was very aggressive. I mean, not like a lot of moves, but they were just constantly on the ground, bunch of punches, bunch of counters. Lacey showing her mat skills, which we haven't seen too much of on TV, but pairing her with Sonya worked out really well for that. They eventually brawl to the outside. It results in a double countout. There's one where Lacey throws Sonya. She hits the corner of the announce table, which looked very painful. But then Lacey comes back in the ring saying, "No, we're not done yet. Let's go. Let's keep going." And Sonya's just like, not on my watch. Like, we'll go when I want to go. And she leaves. So I'm kind of surprised that we're ending Sonya and Mandy at this point, or maybe it's at least a pause in it.
I think it's a pause.
But I like seeing a new interaction with Sonya. Didn't have to emphasize so much of Lacey Didn't have to emphasize so much of, hey, this blonde can do this. I was like, all right, we get it. You're blonde and you can wrestle. Fine. But I'm intrigued with this because I liked the little bit that I saw this week. So I'm interested in seeing them wrestle a little more.
Yeah. So to agree with what you said, I'm happy also that the Sonya Mandy thing, not that it's ended, but it's on pause because I love that storyline. Don't get me wrong. Want to put that out there. But now we're seeing Sonya develop another piece or another part of her with a different wrestler. And I think that the chemistry between Lacey Evans and Sonya was really good. They did do a really great job in the ring, both character-wise and athletic-wise. And it was just cool to see because I feel like they both push each other and test each other's limits. And in that sense, it makes for a great match. You know, it like elevates the watching and the viewing experience. So I loved it. I think that these two were great together, and I wouldn't be upset to see Sonya move into another storyline now with Lacey Evans that's a little bit more intricate than what we just saw on Friday Night SmackDown this week.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I want Sonya to, kind of slowly but surely keep moving up on the ladder in the women's division until whatever babyface Bayley loses the women's championship to, where obviously everyone's expecting eventually Sasha to turn face and win it from her. So, but whenever that ends, whenever Bayley loses the title, whoever that babyface is that gets it and finishes their feud with Bayley, here comes Sonya. Because now she's wreaked havoc on everyone else up until that point. So you had Mandy, you got wins. Now you have Lacey. Then will be the next person, and then boom. So,
yeah, I feel like it's kind of anyone's game now. We'll see what happens.
Forgotten Sons cut a promo again. Again, it was meaningless. Let's move on.
That's good.
I forgot what was said by the Forgotten Sons. Moment of bliss.
Yikes. You know what's sad? It's like so forgotten about that some of these sites that post about the SmackDown results don't even include that promo.
I hope that's intentional to be a play on words for their name. But Moment of Bliss and New Day are their guests. They're exchanging weird gifts. They get interrupted by Bayley and Sasha. And there's a little bit of back and forth between Alexa and Nikki and Sasha and Bayley. New Day are just there reacting to everything. I like Alexa asked Sasha, "Where's your championship? Everyone else in this ring has a title."
I like how she did it too. She counted. She's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's yours, Sasha? That was great.
I also love how whenever I say Alexa, my Alexa then starts reacting to stuff in the back room. But
not as cool as the Alexa Bliss, though.
Not nearly as cool as the Alexa Bliss or Charlotte Jr., as Bayley called her, which I'm like, wouldn't that be a compliment in a way?
But I guess no one that's like an Alexa or Charlotte, which is like a type A leader, wants to ever be in anyone's shadows like Sasha is. So it might be a compliment to somebody else that's looking to work their way up, but Alexa's already there.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Bayley then tells Alexa that Sasha is gonna, kick her ass. Sasha's wearing like 5-inch heels at this point, and they're like, "I'm not dressed to compete." But then Bayley, during the commercial break, apparently runs to the back to get Sasha some sneakers, and we have a match with Alexa and Sasha. Fun match, but you can't pay attention to it because Nikki Cross steals the freaking show. I don't remember the last time I've seen Michael Cole literally drop his head in laughter during commentary while trying to call an actual match. Because Nikki is just standing there shaking the table, just yelling at everything. Corey at one point says, like, why are we even trying? Like, he says, like, why are we trying to call the match?
Yeah.
But it was just so funny with that. Eventually, Bayley tries to interfere. knocked Nikki into Alexa, which lets Sasha get the roll up and Sasha get the win. But it was a good match. Obviously, if you're having Alexa and Sasha in a match, it's going to be good. But Nikki just stole the show.
Yeah. I don't know how you could even do commentary with all that commotion going on over there.
Yeah, it ain't easy. It ain't easy.
Yeah, no, I love, in general, I said it before, I love the Sasha Banks Bayley duo in combination with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I think all four of these ladies make a great dynamic. They're fun to watch. They're exciting. There's just like a level of professionalism with these four because they're so seasoned that makes it really fun and entertaining to watch. And the storyline is written so well. So, yeah, it was fun.
And with the professionalism and experience, like you said, there are also four completely different styles from one another.
Yeah.
But they gel together very well.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden, when the women's tag team titles were pretty much not really being discussed, you got Sasha and Bayley teasing about it on SmackDown, and you got the Iconics teasing about it on Raw. So it's just like, all right, now we're doing something with this. Let's keep that momentum going.
Mm-hmm.
Cesaro versus Shorty G. Short, sweet match. Fast pace. You had a feeling that Shorty G was going to use his brain over the brawn. Not Strowman, but the brawn of Cesaro. Cesaro hit him with a lot of crazy uppercuts and everything. Towards the end, goes for a powerbomb. Shorty counters it into a roll-up. Gets the win. Cesaro, Nakamura not happy. I'm guessing next week, Shorty will then take on Nakamura, find a way to beat him, and who knows where it goes from there.
Yeah, I like this match. I thought, again, we see Shorty G like standing up for himself. So I think that's important. If he's going to be picked on and be called Shorty G, then you might as well give him a win here and there. So, and he did really good tonight. Like overall, his matches between the Battle Royale and then with this, it was good.
Yeah. And then comes the segment that I've been waiting to talk with you about.
Yes.
We have a pool date between Otis and Mandy.
Yeah.
They have champagne. They have some fruit. They're all, lying at the pool, just relaxing, unwinding, enjoying each other's company. Otis, mentions, hey, you want to take a dip in a pool? And I said, I think I'm just going to go take a nap. I was like, all right, that's fine. He leaves her to go nap while he goes to the pool. And then we have the dream sequence. And you know the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right?
No, I've never seen it.
Okay. So, yeah. So I would say anyone in their probably mid to late 30s and up knew the reference that was made during this segment. Because there's a very, very famous scene. You've probably seen this scene because it's where there's like, like some of like the sexiest scenes in like movie history or whatever, where, like a beautiful girl, like she like stares at the end of the pool. The guy is like daydreaming about this beautiful girl and like stares at her at the end of the pool. And it's like, she's staring at him and says, like, I've always wanted you, and jumps into the pool, slow motion, just like it's exactly, they took it completely from
this. Reminds me of The Sandlot with the lifeguard.
Yeah, a little bit, literally The Sandlot, that's also a great one. But yeah, like, and then the moment of, like climbing up out of the pool, shaking the wet hair. Now the movie one, kids need to watch this with parents' permission, because like in the movie, all of a sudden she's like walking in slow motion, removes the top. I was like, oh wow. But so like this one obviously is just Otis, but Mandy, like going like biting her lip, squirting the sunscreen. It was like, wow. So Mandy all of a sudden is really, really into Otis, and this puts a whole new spin on things.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think that's why it's written out so well, because It's not the same if it's Otis having these dreams because, like, obviously anyone like Otis is going to be, like, daydreaming over Mandy regardless. It's like you don't need
Sure.
to create this scene in order for us to all know what's going on in Otis's head. But Mandy, on the other hand, it's like she's like this 10, 1 out of 10. She's a 10, and she's with Otis. And it's like, we wouldn't expect her to feel that way. So it's funny and it's fun to watch.
And her like doing the, oh yeah, like at the end of it. And we've been joking for weeks of all he's getting is a peck on the cheek. There were no pecks on a cheek in this segment.
Yes,
It
I
was
was gonna
Makeout
say
City.
they were more into each other in this segment. In the past that we've seen, yeah, it's a little bit standoffish. Not sure how Mandy's feeling in the moment. Does she really want to kiss Otis? But in this scene at the pool, she was all about it. All the makeout scenes were like intense. They were straight out of a movie. So yeah, you're right. I loved it. It was actually kind of funny too because I think it rained the day they shot this, obviously. And I
Oh,
remember my family lives in Florida too, so I remember on my brother's Instagram feed, I could see like the rain like downpouring in the background. So I'm like, oh man, they must have shot this. It's probably earlier on Friday or something,
yeah,
or
probably like
whenever
early
it
in the
rained
morning.
later this week. Yeah, and it was funny because I'm just glad that they got the important stuff out of the way, and then it was able to add to the scene that they're like now all wet. So it's probably why he had to cannonball in and like drench her. And now like her hair is all wet and everything's all wet, and she goes in the water, and then they have their makeout scene. So it was funny and it worked out.
Why does part of me, like the evil, sinister part of me, want eventually now because we're seeing how into Otis Mandy is, that I want Otis to be the one eventually to end the relationship because Mandy is too clingy. Like
That
all of
would
a
be really
sudden,
funny.
like like you just want sex all the time. You won't leave me alone for a second. I no, yeah, I'm above this. Like so, all of a sudden it's Otis dumping Mandy,
I think the
which no one would
only
expect at all.
I think the only way he would ever dump her in storyline is if another super hot WWE superstar comes around and wants Otis. And now it's like, whoa, I have this option too. And then Otis leaves Mandy for the other person, whoever that may be. Alexa Bliss. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
That was a
hey,
joke.
that's all part of that master plan I mentioned a few weeks ago for Ziggler to somehow get the briefcase.
Yeah.
He gets a girl, convinces her to hit on Otis, make Mandy angry. Eventually, like, all right, what do you want, Mandy or the briefcase? But yeah, we'll see. This was interesting. And what might have been even more interesting was we did a segue from the makeout into Kurt Angle, bright-eyed smiley face. It's like, weren't you just fired?
Yeah, he's happy to be back. Now he's getting paid again.
Yeah.
That's why he's bright-eyed.
And for some reason, Angle is the one that announces the latest acquisition to SmackDown. The bro himself, Matt Riddle, is coming to SmackDown. I like the fit for SmackDown. Matt Riddle should have been in that Battle Royal as his debut. Because if you're having the people trying to fight for a shot into the IC title tournament, what better way to make waves than all of a sudden Matt Riddle debuts, wins the Battle Royal. Whether he wins or loses against Daniel Bryan at that point would be irrelevant because you had Matt Riddle debut and have a match with Daniel Bryan on his
Yep.
first night on SmackDown.
That's a great point.
But they're building him up, and we'll see how he fits in with the roster. I just always get scared whenever I watch him wrestle. I want him to wear boots or shoes so badly. I hate watching wrestlers wrestle barefoot. It terrifies me. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
so
agree.
dangerous.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, how does this guy do this? Because, okay, side note, I recently bought rollerblades, and I plan to do some skate sessions in like quiet paved path neighborhoods in Los Angeles. But I just tried them on the other day, and I'm like, man, this is like difficult when you haven't done it in a while, and like just
Mm-hmm.
balancing and stopping. And I'm thinking like, man, I need protective gear. I just bought knee pads, but maybe I should invest in elbow pads and wrist pads and a helmet just in case something happens. And I'm like, and then I put it in perspective too, because I'm like, wow, this guy Matt Riddle, like he is so unprotected. He's literally in these short shorts, no equipment. How are you doing this? And how are you
And
not nervous you're gonna not hurt yourself, you know?
and now, when things quote unquote go back to normal, if Raw and SmackDown go back to their usual routines of having 3 or 4 shows a week, and depending on a pay-per-view, you might be wrestling 3 to 5 times a week plus travel, which you're doing obviously some with NXT, but not to the extent of Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's going to take a toll.
Yeah,
Wear some
think it's a
damn
good
boots
idea.
and knee pads.
Mm-hmm. I'm
all I
scared for
ask.
him. I feel like if it was anybody else who had been wrestling for a while and already on main roster for a while, they would have like adjusted because as in adjusted to more protection. Because once these wrestlers start working like these crazy schedules and they're always on and always wrestling, there's injuries that happen. And then now that they've like sprained one ligament, it's going to affect the rest of their, leg or foot or whatever. And for the rest of their life, like even if you're healed, like I'm sure there's always pain or risk of re-injuring yourself again in the future. So I think when Matt Riddle has more time under his belt doing main roster, he might realize it's not such a smart idea. I might need to incorporate gear into my routine.
Well, the last wrestler that I remember that did this was Rusev. In NXT, Rusev was barefoot.
Yeah.
Now, I believe he put tape around his feet, but he was still barefoot. Went to the main roster, barefoot. After so many months, I don't know. I felt like he had like a minor ankle injury. I don't remember what. Like in like a battle royal, he got thrown over the top rope, landed awkwardly, and all of a sudden he's wearing boots.
Yeah.
And then he's wearing, he's wearing. Did he wear knee pads? I don't remember, but he definitely had boots. So I have a feeling that's going to be the same thing with Riddle.
Yeah, for sure. Once you have that injury, you can't risk injuring the same part of your body. So he'll wind up getting there at some point.
Yeah. Main event: Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan for the semifinal Intercontinental Title Tournament. Just like the match last week with Sheamus and Jeff Hardy, Sheamus dominated nearly this entire match. He's getting ready for the bro kick. Somehow Jeff Hardy shows up. They don't play the music. The crowd doesn't see him because they're watching the ring. And it's like a very slow, oh, it's Hardy, hey, yeah. And that's when Sheamus turns in distraction, runs to the running knee. Bryan gets the win. Hardy then attacks Sheamus after the match. Sheamus escapes. WWE.com said afterwards that Hardy was released after they questioned him and everything like that. They ruled that obviously he was not at fault, which we all knew. And
what do you mean we all knew? Not everybody knows.
Oh, Gabby.
Oh, Josh.
And now, again, the mystery continues of who set up Jeff Hardy, who ran over Elias.
This validates our original prediction and I think it was what you thought it was Sheamus, right?
Sheamus and Corbin. Like something like group effort. Yeah.
But it confirms it because now Hardy's giving him a beat down after the match. So why would the first thing he does after he gets released is go after Sheamus? It's because he knows who attacked him.
Right. Absolutely. And with that, I don't know off the top of my head if the Daniel Bryan AJ Styles match now, if that's going to be a Backlash or if that's just going to be on SmackDown. I want it in a way, as much as I love for it to be on SmackDown so we can just break it down. I think since they're hyping Backlash with the greatest wrestling match ever with Edge and Orton, I want them to also have Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles on that card. Because
Yeah.
that could be the greatest wrestling match ever.
Like more than one greatest wrestling match
Yeah.
ever.
The two greatest wrestling matches ever.
Two great.
Yeah, so that's how SmackDown ends, but don't you worry. That's not how we end. Because Gabby's here. So we got some wrestling rap to do. I know it's just me she's gonna do the news to right now, but that's fine. We're gonna roll with it. All
Welcome
right,
to
what we got
Wrestling
this week?
Wrap, you guys. We have some stories for you this week. First one is how WWE banned the use of the buckle bomb. So we're adding another banned performance finisher or, whatever to the mix.
Yeah.
So now adding that to also a few other things that aren't allowed that we already know about. I'm going to get into that in a sec. But this move is also known as a power bomb into the turnbuckles, if you guys are wondering. And it was first reported by a PW Insider and verified by Brian Alvarez. And it's unclear as to why this decision was made, but on an April 20th Raw, there was a match that featured a move delivered by Nia Jax to Kairi Sane that drew significant criticism because Sane's head was hit in the middle turnbuckle awkwardly. So the most well-known incident from that same move was in 2015 at WWE's Night of Champions pay-per-view. And we saw WWE champion at the time, Seth Rollins, deliver the buckle bomb to Sting, injuring his neck. So it looks like it's just obviously a move that could create a serious injury, and it's a little too risky. And that's why WWE probably put this on the ban list. Now, it's also joining a slew of other things, like I mentioned at the top. It's going to be joining the pile driver, the chair shots to the head, and several other moves that are currently on that ban list that I'm sure you can find somewhere on Google. What do you think about them banning this move? Do you think it was smart? Do you think it was dangerous? What's your opinion?
I really enjoy the move, but their history has shown people have gotten hurt by it. And if they're big on, refraining a lot of the moves that involve quick reactions on the head and neck, like a pile driver, then I'm not surprised that they're banning this. What surprises me, though, is we're getting more and more variations of DDTs where the wrestlers are literally putting themselves on headstands. And those are still fine, but this one is not. Because I don't want to get rid of the DDTs because they look amazing. Buckle bombs look amazing. Pile drivers look amazing, but they're all incredibly dangerous. So it is one of those risks. I mean, it's also kind of gauging who is taken and everything like that, because obviously I can't specify exactly, but when you have Nia do it to Kairi, obviously Nia's a lot bigger than Kairi. She can throw her quite far.
Yeah.
You have Seth and Sting in a situation where, Sting, not with the endurance at that point, as he certainly had well in his prime, maybe not necessarily able to get fully up at that point after they went X amount of minutes in the match. There are all different things. Maybe someone was hurt, couldn't get him up in position. All different things happen. It's just really a matter then of, if someone isn't comfortable with doing the move, whether they talk about it backstage or in the ring, you got to communicate with each other.
Right.
You can call. You guys they're trained to the extent to call audibles if they feel it's necessary. They certainly probably didn't at that point. They did it, and accidents happen. But I'm not surprised based on its track record. But there are other moves that are still done on a fairly regular basis that seem just as dangerous. So it's kind of, why stop this one when you haven't stopped these?
Totally. I agree. Next up, we have great news. Let's talk about some positive things.
Yeah.
WWE's JoJo, a.k.a. Josiane Offerman, and our beloved Bray Wyatt have had their second child together, and that happened this past Thursday. They announced it on their social media channels. And we do know that they already had one child back in May of 2019 named Nash Six Rotunda. And this second baby is named Hyrie Von Rotunda. I hope I'm saying that right. Almost sounds like Kyrie, like Kyrie Sane, but it's Hyrie,
How is it spelled?
Hyrie.
Hyrie. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Hyrie, I
and
believe.
and and the middle name was Vaughn.
Von Rotunda.
VON.
VON.
Yep. So I have to think. I think Hyrie. I think that's a name of some legendary Japanese wrestler, but I have to look it up. But obviously, you had Nash Six Rotunda, Vaughn, as in the Von Erichs. He's naming his kids after wrestlers.
That's so funny.
This explains why Bray hasn't been on TV the last few weeks. It makes perfect sense.
So they know. Oh, what were you gonna say?
I said to me that makes sense. Where after the last pay-per-view, which name is now escaped, Money in the Bank, we haven't seen Bray on TV. Mm-hmm. You've been pushing Miz and Morrison to have a little thing with Braun.
Yes.
So it kind of gives Bray a month off, so he can be there with JoJo while they have their baby.
Makes perfect sense. I also, going back to the names, think it's cool that he's naming the kids after wrestlers. But at the same time, it's very 2020 of him, because all of these like celebrities now are naming their kids like the weirdest things. Like you have like, Kim and Kanye West, and then you have like Elon Musk and his girlfriend with their baby.
Which, who knows? I have no idea how to pronounce that, and
I have no idea either. And apparently they had to change the name because I guess in California state you cannot have, I think it's numbers in a child's name.
You could have a number in the legal name.
So I think they changed it to like the Roman numeral or whatever.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Such craziness. So yeah, I feel like JoJo and Bray are pretty much following that bandwagon of like these odd names. I mean, yes, they're wrestler names, but at the same time, like Six.
Is JoJo still under contract?
So it does. I don't have the information, but I do know that she hasn't done ring announcing since the announcement of her first child. So we know she had her first child in May 2019. So this was probably back either in early 2019 or end of 2018 when she most likely stopped working.
The last time we saw her.
Yeah. So it could be, but I would think like, even if she was under contract with WWE, just like laying people off, that like, I mean, well, no, it's discriminatory if someone says they're pregnant and then you fire them, but
yeah, it's not gonna happen during the pregnancy, but
yeah, it could be that her contract's maybe about to expire. I feel like they do a lot of like 3-year contracts, so could be expiring like next year if she doesn't come back. Who knows? If you guys have any idea on that, let us know in the comment section. So next up, we found out that Nigel McGuinness was also furloughed by WWE. Now, when WWE announced a bunch of their layoffs, furloughs, firings because of coronavirus, they only announced one list that we've seen. But there's also people that were in that mix, I guess, that weren't announced. And I mean, we even know some of them, but like speculating wise. But yeah, this one was confirmed by Wrestling Observer's newsletter. And I guess the many that were working in NXT that were not named by WWE when they were released and furloughed, that's specifically in NXT. And Nigel McGuinness had worked for NXT UK. So he was on the commentary team with Andy Shepherd. Do you guys think he'll be back once this is all over? Or you think anyone who is an announcer or on commentary that was laid off during this process will probably not be brought back once,
I think he'll be back because he was NXT UK and NXT and 205 Live. Mm-hmm. He was really pretty much doing all of them.
Yeah.
So this one is definitely surprising that they did it, but especially for the UK brand, I definitely see him bringing him back eventually when it comes. So that I don't want to say the word worried because I'm not worried about him, but I think, and he's too good to not keep.
Yeah, makes sense. Also, speaking of wrestlers potentially being let go, laid off, whatever, we were shocked and stunned when we thought Drew Gulak was going to be leaving WWE, but turns out he is back in action as we saw on SmackDown this week. And it looks like he just signed a multi-year contract with WWE as of this week. The Wrestling Observer newsletter also reported that as well. And also, they had confirmed that promoters attempted to contact Drew Gulak, of course, during that period of time where, his contract was in question and he might have been a free agent, but he clearly had a destination, in quotes, in WWE. So I guess he's not going anywhere anytime soon, which is very exciting for all of us because I know we were loving where his storyline was going. So there's no better time than being in a good storyline than for your contract to expire at that point so that they can realize how worth it you are. So I'm glad that WWE kept him.
We were just talking about either last week or 2 weeks ago. We're just like, his contract ended. They didn't agree on terms of it. He then could immediately show up anywhere, which is why everyone was trying to reach out to him, and rightfully so. But he obviously was on such good terms. It was like, we're going to get it worked out. Even if I miss a week or two of TV, it's going to work out in itself. And obviously it did because we had that backstage, skirmish with everyone. It's just like, wait, didn't they just say he was gone? But he's there. So good for him. Good for getting a new contract. Keep pushing the guy because he deserves it.
Wow, you have to have a lot to be grateful for at this point, Drew, because it's unbelievable during a time like this when people are losing their jobs and livelihoods that not only were you having your contract expire, you were in an amazing storyline on TV. All these other promotions are contacting you to be a part of their promotions. You're wanted, and then you sign a multi-year contract with the biggest company in the wrestling business. So that's got to be super exciting for him and also something to be proud of, for sure.
Absolutely. 100%.
To finish off Wrestling Wrap for this week, I'm sorry, you guys, but we got to go soon. Kevin Owens put out a tweet on his Fight Owens Fight page, and he just put hello with an exclamation point, and it's him on the couch with his daughter and their big black cat. And he has three different photos.
That was your Kevin Owens news?
Yeah.
That he tweeted hello?
It was this morning, and it's so funny to me because it's such a random tweet, so random news bit, but it's a random tweet that he put out, and his cat's pretty big in these photos, and he's like hiding behind the cat with his eyes out in the back. They're just super funny. So go check out Kevin Owens' black cat.
How'd you feel about Owens losing to Angel Garza on Raw?
I never feel happy when Kevin Owens loses.
No, and he lost to an up and comer.
Yeah, that's not cool. Maybe that's why he put this tweet out to let us know hello, he's still alive. Like he wasn't taken out, Like I'm coming back for more. Hello, it's me. That's what he's saying.
I'm sure you're right about that. All right, well we're gonna wrap this show up, but obviously we want to know your thoughts with the news that Gabby presented, as far as what you think of who done it, who ran over Elias, who framed Jeff Hardy. So let us know in the comments on YouTube, on iTunes, and of course you can talk to us on various forms of social media. Gabby, how can people reach out to you?
You guys can definitely connect with me on Instagram and Twitter at Gabby Loren TV. Also, please follow my podcast page. We upload new videos and episodes on Tuesdays at 8 a.m. Pacific to the YouTube channel, but it's called Breaking Bread with Allie and Gabby. So on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, you can find it at BBWAG Podcast. Make sure you check it out. It's self-development, spirituality, and a dose of Torah. What about you, Josh?
There you go. Well, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Tariff. My YouTube page, youtube.com/Josh Tariff. We put the recap shows on there. I have my Josh Talks show on there. Oddly enough, Josh Talks gets uploaded also every Tuesday at 8 a.m. So you got a whole big morning watch along between Gabby's show and my show. Just that's got your morning on lock. Or watch Gabby's on Tuesday, save and watch mine on Wednesday, whatever you prefer. It's fine. And of course, Christian Rosenberg stuff, ProWrestlingTees.com/Christian Rosenberg. Support Shag Gaspard and his family, CollarandElbowBrand.com. Get the shirt. All the proceeds go to his family, of course. And for other TV news and gossip for recaps, follow AfterBuzz TV on Twitter at AfterBuzzTV. Thanks for tuning in for Gabby Loren. I'm Josh Tariff, and we will see you later.